Hey everyone, and welcome. The film we're going to be talking about today is The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. Fun fact, or scary fact, the audio that is playing during the credits is actually from the real life tapes of the exorcism of David Glatzel. This movie came out in 2021 and stars Vera Farmiga, Patrick Wilson, and Rory O'Connor, and was directed by Michael Chaves. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It tells the real life story of how Ed and Lorraine Warren decided to help out with the case of Arnie Johnson. Arnie is accused of killing his landlord, and the Warrens are brought in because he claims that he was possessed by the devil. Now, the Warrens must get to the bottom of what actually happened and try to help prove that Arnie was innocent. The cast has some familiar faces that you may have seen before. Patrick Wilson was in Aquaman. Vera Farmiga was in Godzilla King of Monsters. Rory O'Connor was in The Spanish Princess. John Noble was in Lord of the Rings. Julian Hillard was in WandaVision. And Michael Chaves also directed The Curse of La Llorona. This is the third Conjuring movie, and this is the eighth movie in the Conjuring universe. If you are a fan of ghost and horror movies, this is a movie that is right for you. This movie starts off with a bang by showing you the exorcism of David Glatzel. It's a scene that is scary but also really intense, and it really draws you into the movie. I noticed, especially in the beginning of this movie, that at times in this movie where people are talking, the volume is super low, but when there's a jump scare, that volume just shoots up. I think this is something we've seen throughout different horror movies that, some movies do well, some movies don't, where, they use this tactic to produce a jump scare. And I think that the Conjuring movies have done it well, to the point where even if the volume is lower, you're still going to get scared. It's creepy how they also always add proof at the end of their movies. Like the movie Enough is already scary, but then, you're going through the credits and you hear like this archival sound from the actual recording playing in the background. And so now you're even more horrified because you have seen this horror movie and now to hear the actual, tapes is also horrifying. I thought it was interesting to see how in other Conjuring movies it's more about like a haunting of a house, but with this Conjuring movie, it had to deal with a more human element. It was interesting to see how this movie dealt with an occultist being the person who is trying to summon a demon and commit a crime, and how, it's not as simple as the Warrens going to a house and, getting rid of this demon. It's like they had to do some research to figure out who is the actual person that is causing all of this problem. I thought it was cool to see how this movie also showed a movie that went further than just a possession. Like we usually see in these type of horror films, there's some type of possession, and it revolves around like the family or group of friends or whoever's in the house. But this movie showed how it went past that, and it had legal ramifications because he ended up killing somebody. But then it also showed how even though it had legal ramification, there was still like a person behind it, and they were trying to help and figure out either what actually happened and figure out like how the Warrens could help. And it was crazy how he almost got the death sentence for this, but he ended up only getting 5 years, and he got out of prison after that. I thought it was funny how Annabelle was mentioned in this movie. Annabelle is mentioned in the first Conjuring movie, and I think that with every other Conjuring movie, they find some way to input her into the movie. And I always just find it funny how, you'll be watching the movie and, there's always going to be a mention of her. Like, it's just going to, it may be something small, it may be something bigger, but you're going to hear about Annabelle in the Conjuring movies. I think it is weird though how they keep like a souvenir case in their house from all of their cases. I think that all their cases are scary as they are, but then to all keep all these creepy artifacts in one room is ridiculous. I would never be able to live in that house. I love to see Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson return as the Warrens. They have great chemistry playing this married couple who is not your typical average married couple because they also fight demons. Like, what else could you ask for? In this film, we see how this demon hunting lifestyle is starting to wear down on the Warrens. I thought it was interesting for this film to show how, even though the Warrens are experts and they've been doing this for years, that it's not an easy job and it's really starting to wear down on them. I was wondering how throughout this movie Ed was constantly running around. Like this man had a heart attack in the beginning of the movie and then was running around like nothing happened. I'm like, sir, you are in the wrong profession to be acting like that. A demon will come and snatch you up real quick if you are in the wrong place at the wrong time. I loved seeing John Noble in this movie. He has a small part, but I love the plot twist that was involved with his character. I was wondering how the Warrens were going to explain the two bodies at the end of the movie. Like, I get it, the priest, he got killed by his daughter. That's an easy explanation. But the occultist, she got all twisted up by the demon that she promised, to take a life for. So I was like, how are you going to explain her little twisted up, contortionist looking body over there? My favorite part of this movie is actually the beginning of the movie. I think that the beginning of the movie is important because it draws you in and kind of sets up the movie for what's going to be going on. This movie did a great job of drawing you in and immediately throwing that horror in, but also setting up kind of what was going to be happening and helping the viewer understand the case that, they were going to be talking about in this movie. The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It is a great addition to the Conjuring universe. I don't think that this movie is as good as the first Conjuring movie, but I still think that it's a pretty good horror movie led by the amazing Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson. If you have not seen The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, I suggest that you go and watch it. Thank you for watching my video. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you have not subscribed, please do so you can keep up to date with more of my videos. But besides that, everyone stay safe, have fun, and goodbye.